Hello, Adkins here from the Dimp. We're here to review A Way Out. I've got Mr. Appleyard with me. Apps. How you doing, mate?
Good, thanks, you.
Yep, all right for the moment. The cold's still lingering, but
Weeks after the Far Cry review,
after.
seemingly an unbearable cold that can't be got rid of. I wonder if it'll carry on for another 2 weeks.
It might, possible. I might have the worst immune system known to man.
I thought all that working outside would do you some favours.
Yes, well, it should do. That's what to be fair, I did feel better whilst I was doing it. It's when you come home and sort of relax, that's when you really get the barrage of shit.
Yeah, get all bunged up. Not much required.
No, that's right. So I was working out together, and together is the theme of A Way Out, isn't it?
Yes.
So I'd ask you for your cards on the table, but
there ain't any.
There ain't any cards. You're empty.
No, not with it. I mean, it's not a sequel or anything. The only thing you could point towards, I guess, is Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, which was Joseph Ferris's first game. I didn't play it, so
no, I've got it, but I never played it myself. Is that a co-op game? But it's one that you don't have to play. Correct.
Yeah, you can play either single player or cooperatively. I think it's harder when it's single player because you've got to move them with 2 different thumbsticks, so you control one of each. But you can play it on your own. A Way Out, you cannot play on your own. There is no single player option here, but you can play it either local split screen co-op or online co-op. Doesn't matter how you do it. It'll be exactly the same experience because the screen is constantly split between your character and your buddy's character. So no co-op option here. No single player option for A Way Out whatsoever.
Interesting. And what type of game is this then? So
it's a bit of I guess it's like an action adventure almost.
Right. Not
really many open world elements to it. I mean, you can explore environments at your leisure at times, but it's got a bit of shooting in it, it's got a bit of driving in it, it's got a bit of puzzle solving. It's a bit of a mash-up of games, but you describe it as sort of an adventure game, I guess, with a few other bits, light touches of other mechanics thrown in.
Right, and it's all third person, is it?
Yes, yeah, third person or sometimes fixed camera angles if it wants to go for a more cinematic look. But generally, we're looking like a third person over the shoulder jobby for most of it.
Right, okay. And does he have his own company, this Joseph? Or is it the same one that did thing, or is this a new IP?
Yes.
Is this a new company?
So it's under the company name of Hazelight Studios. So that's the development studio he set up. It was different from Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. So he's kind of moved into this Hazelight, set it up. But the twist here is it's not like an indie studio because Electronic Arts have picked it up and they publish it. So they've obviously probably helped finance things, that help with the marketing and things, and to be honest, that's one of the things that kind of separates it from like a standalone studio. I think the production values are quite high for what it is in comparison. But yeah, Hazelight Studios is Mr. Ferris's current development studio that this was worked out under.
Right. Oh, nice. Right. So the question that everyone's going to ask, and they want to know the answer. I've had emails upon emails asking. Is you've got a plethora of individuals that you could choose for this experience.
Yeah.
Who was the lucky man or woman?
Yeah, it could have been a woman. It wasn't. I didn't really choose him. He's sort of just like the last sort of person I could get. No, it was me and Mr. Logan who went through it.
Sir Logan.
He had shown a sniffing interest in it, and I was kind of I was going to get it, and I wasn't expecting much of it in terms of its review scores. But when I saw the review scores coming in at like aggregating at around a 79 or an 80, I was like, that is higher than I was expecting. So let's accelerate the process. I'll grab it. I picked it up on Amazon for 20 UK pounds on the dot. Mr. Logan, which is one of the cool quirks about this game, he did not have to pay a penny.
That is good.
All he does is your partner installs the trial version of the game. The person who's bought the game, or with the disc, either a digital or if you've got a digital, downloaded it, boots up their game, invites their partner, they join, and you're both playing the same game, and only one of you's got to purchase the game. So a really bold move, because they could have almost force you to buy, two separate copies, and I don't think many people would have, raised too many, eyebrows about that. But no, you pay for it once between you, and it's at a budget price of £20.
It's really good. I like that. He's sort of almost pushing like the sort of co-op thing on you, isn't it? Like you're realising that you have to go out and play this with two people. It's making you make friends. You can't just go and buy this and play it on your Todd. You've got to get out there and get yourself a friend.
If you have no friends, there's no public matchmaking. So
I was just about to ask that. There's nothing at all, is there?
No, you have to invite them off your friends list. So, and to be honest, the way the game's structured, I think you wouldn't. If you played with some randomer, it would be insufferable. You'd
really?
Yeah, I don't think you'd have much fun with it. It's best if you know this person, if you've got a bit of a relationship between you, a friendship or whatever, then this is a good game to pick up for two people that have enjoyed perhaps the yesteryear of gaming when we was all playing alongside each other and playing something that is truly co-op only.
Right. Could you go through this game not talking to Logan?
I mean, I've got verbal diarrhea like you, so it's difficult not to. And we streamed most of it, so. But you could, but I think part of the experience is bouncing off one another with jokes, or asking for help if you need a hand here. If you're maybe using a little bit of strategy in the game as well, if you're in a fighting scene or a gunplay scene, so. Yeah, I think definitely you want to be either have that person in the room with you, or at the very least over a headset, so you can communicate. Nice.
And a little personal question from me, going back to the only one person having to pay for it.
Yep.
Would that mean Logan gets the trophies?
That's the only That's the only sort of kick in the bollocks for the second player, if you will.
Right.
They do not retain any trophy progress because you only download the trial version of the game.
Right. Okay.
So I got all the trophies.
For all the trophy hunters out there that are trying to get themselves some freebies,
make sure you play one.
Nice. So you and Logan played this through to completion, did you?
Yes.
Is it just a campaign story? Is there side stuff to do, or how does it work?
Yeah, no, it's just a campaign to go through. It took us just over 6 hours, so I think we were reasonably quick in some areas. Like there's parts of the game where there's like mini games for you to play, like you can play darts against one another, or baseball, or horseshoe throwing, things like that. In every sort of area you go to, there's normally one or two of those events that you can kind of partake in. So you can fiddle around and do bits and pieces like that, but it's mostly a narrative driven kind of linear game, with little areas for you to explore and whatnot.
Oh, excellent. I normally find with these sort of shorter games that it's a nice sort of tight experience throughout. Like it's that cinematic experience.
Yes.
What did it feel like? That was it a tight experience? Like was the story enough to keep you engaged for the 6 hours? Did you feel like you needed more?
No, I think it's about the right length for what it wants to be. I mean, any longer and you go into that territory, which I hate, which is bloating it. So it's a lean experience, and there's not a lot of faffing around. You're moved, from point A to point B to point C reasonably quickly. Once you kind of have stopped pissing around in the environment, either trying on clothes or playing a guitar or whatever, you think, right, now let's get on with the task at hand, and it will move you along as quickly or as slowly as you want. But a nice lean, tight experience.
Oh, excellent. What about the characters in the game? Are these guys that are going to be sticking about? So you have it's two main guys that you're playing, right? One each.
Yes, yeah. So you got Vincent, who is freshly kind of incarcerated and has been sent to jail, and then you've got this other chap named Leo, who's been arrested and been in the prison, a few months or whatever, and they meet at that point when Vincent comes in, and I mean they're both very different. Like Leo's a very confident outspoken, brash sometimes character. Vincent's a little bit more calculated, slower pace, maybe a bit more methodical, and that reflects in some of the sort of branching sort of decisions you get to make. There are certain situations that pop up, and Leo will suggest one way of tackling it, and Vincent will select another. Between you, as you know, as players, have got to decide. Okay, do we fancy Leo's way or should we do Vincent's way? And then they're two different types of like action, or it might be a little bit more stealthy if it's Vincent. So you've got those choices to reflect the sort of character and personality traits.
Oh, excellent. Okay. Now, one thing I did when I first saw this game, it never really struck me as sort of like a good-looking game graphically.
Yeah.
But sort of when I started seeing some stuff when it came out, I was sort of blown away with how sort of good it looked and sort of cinematic. What were the sort of overall presentation of the game like?
Yeah, it's not top notch. I mean, we've spoken about the 4K games that have all the dynamic 4K games that sometimes appear on the consoles, but I think for a budget game, it outperforms what it is. It looks better than it should do.
Yeah.
And I think the right word to use is cinematic. They've put a lot of focus on making sure the environments from a distance look beautiful. Yep. And when you're sort of strolling around and just sort of taking it in like that, it looks nice. It looks better than it should be. But if you start looking a little bit closer at the faces, you start looking a bit closer at the textures, you'll notice they're not the best. But I mean, for 20 UK pounds and what is probably a relatively small studio, albeit with EA clout, I think they've done a fantastic job because it's so focused on the cinematography. It has to kind of look decent, and it does a good job of that.
That's brilliant. Being a cinematic experience, are we getting this cinematic frame rate?
We are getting 30 frames.
30 frames. So we're getting close to that 24 frames for the cinematic feeling. Did you have any hitches? Was it stable throughout? Or you didn't have any crashes or anything?
No crashes, which was fortunate, because sometimes with a lower price game, that's one of my worries. But no crashes. A little bit of frame rate. Issues now and again, but it's hard to notice because the screen is normally separated in half all the time. So Logan was off doing something, I was off doing something else. I don't know whether he experienced any problems that I didn't at the time. So it's doing two jobs at once, which is impressive for the engine. It's allowing us to do that, and no problems to really raise at this particular issue.
Oh, excellent. Was the co-op, was that sort of seamless as well?
Yeah, you just jump into the game. You can't start until you've got your buddy in. So you go into the lobby, you select continue game or start game, go into invite friend, press the button, find Logan, hit it, he jumps in. You choose which character you want to be. It gives you a little biography of each of them. Hit OK, and then you're away. You're either back where you started previously, or if you started a new game, it throws you right in.
Oh, excellent. That sounds good. The sound of the game, was you getting any licensed tracks on this? Was it a good cinematic soundtrack to it?
There is. I think it kind of melds everything together, and sound is one of those. I'm not going to say I remember there being any specific licensed tracks that I was like, oh, I can't believe that's in there. Yeah. But everything kind of fits the style of the game, and it's all along with the cinematography piece that we've spoken about. The sound's definitely another big part of that. Voice acting's very good. Sort of bring the characters alive in doing that, and no complaints on that front. Certainly something that is passable.
No, that's good. It's a horrible question to ask, but we're in this day and age now where it's happening all the time, and the first thing you know is that EA have got their mitts on it, so it's a potential. Yeah. Does this game have any microtransactions?
Fucking riddled with it.
Oh, really?
No, there's none.
Oh, thank God for that. I really think you're being serious then.
I was going to say, you can customise Leo and Vince. No, none of that. So no microtransactions. The game is what it is. Yeah, you haven't got to worry about any loot boxes or paid DLC or anything like that. So it is what it says in the tin. The game is what it is, and you won't be worried or concerned about anything like that.
Oh, brilliant. That sounds good. So it's just one sort of campaign there. You haven't got any sort of end game or any side stuff to do.
No, it is like a linear progression in that sense. There's no end game afterwards. You are, once the story's done, you are effectively done with the game. Not a lot of room for repeat playthroughs unless you want to explore those handful of decisions you get to make in choosing either Leo or Vincent's path. But
Right.
other than that, one and done. Happy days.
Would you like to play through it again and play as the opposing character?
I think not, because you see so much of that character on your screen anyway. You get an understanding of who they are. It would literally be just to go back and try, like I said, a couple of the different type of ways to do the game to see if it makes any sort of material difference. But other than that, I think it might sound like it's a bit of a criticism, but actually you're fulfilled when you finish the game. You don't feel like you need to go back and explore things because you're just like, right, that was my story. That's how it ended, and I'm happy with that. I can walk away. Don't need to dig into it too much. And feel like you've had a good experience.
Excellent. Lovely. Okay, so before we wrap things up, if you just want to give your closing thoughts, or if there's anything you wanted to address that we haven't discussed.
And I want to address one thing. I mean, it's a bit of because it is a little bit of a mismatch of different genres almost. There's sections in it where you got third person shooting and driving and things like that. And I must say that's kind of where the game unravels a little bit. Like, these mechanics aren't very strong. Like, don't expect Gears of War level of third person cover shooting when you get to this, because it does not give you that, and the driving feels stiff as anything. So those sort of action sequences, I felt like they had to put them in to draw people in, make it exciting for people, and it fits in the context of the story. But if I was going to point out one criticism, those particular action pieces could have been delivered a little bit better.
Right, cool. So a real end sore note to end that on. So the question then begs, should you buy it or should you bin it?
Fucking buy it, but only one of you, because you're only one of you now.
That's true, yeah. And for your official grading?
Yes, so my official grading for A Way Out is going to be silver.
Boom, there you have it. Silver. A Way Out gets a silver rating from the old Dimp boys.
Yeah.
It's a solid experience then, and did you think you thought it was good value money for your experience overall?
If you're, unlike Logan, who's a tight arse, if you're going to split the costs between the two of you, tenner each, you don't get much better value than just going through this. You don't get games like this anymore. So take some time out, try something a little bit different, find someone who you can rely on, play through the game. You're in for a real treat for the narrative and whatnot. So just give it a go. It's not going to be a big investment for either of you. You're both going to be satisfied. It's not going to take a week of solid 5-hour sessions to get through it. You can bang it out in 2, 3, 4 sessions in 2 hours, whatever you want to do. And I just advise people that if you had a passing interest in it, go out and get it.
Lovely, brilliant. So there you go. It's in the books. We've got it as silver. So go out there and get it. If you want more from us, we're on all the social medias /Dimp Digital. Get them subscribes done. Get us on Twitch. Get them bells. Get them bells and get subscribing. Yeah, we need that beer money. Because you will see more experiences being streamed once these Waker internets get back.
Yeah, once I'm back from holiday, we'll be firing all cylinders then.
Firing all cylinders. So make sure you subscribe and get them bells so you know when our next video is. But that's all we've got to say for today. So, as usual, we'll say thanks for your time and ta-da!
What's your plan?
Stay the hell away from me, okay?
I'm sure you have good reasons to bust out of here, but I need to get out of here too.
Yeah? Not my problem.
It's pitch black. We need a light.
Screw it. I'll go first.
Oh, crap! You okay? Do you have a problem?
Yeah, I got a problem with you.
I love you, buddy.
Vincent, what are you doing here?
She's my daughter, too.
See? Problem solved.
Come on, Leo!